Hey everybody, DJ Sixsmith here. You're watching The Sit Down. Jeanine Mason hanging out. Roswell, New Mexico. Bringing along. How are you, Jeanine?
I'm good. How are you doing? How are you holding up?
Wife and I are good. Plenty of time to watch stuff. Just chilling here at the casa. How about you?
Oh my God, the same. I feel like every industry lover has a list of movies that they've never quite gotten to, and at the cocktail parties, it's like, well, you know that shot in this. I'm like finally conquering that space, that hole in my film knowledge. It's been good.
So what are some movies you're knocking off the list?
Whew, okay, so let's see. I started on kind of like a Cary Grant kick. I watched Roman Holiday and To Catch a Thief, then went down like a little Audrey Hepburn moment and
Nice.
and did the original Sabrina. So a lot of the classics that I missed, learning a lot from them. It's been delightful watching them. I've loved it. Yeah.
What have you gained from watching somebody like Audrey Hepburn? You know, just somebody at a different time, but sort of timeless in what she brought to the screen. What pops about her style?
She's so present and open. Like she seems unfazed by the camera. Like I think there's always an element of apologizing, of being a little shy that I see in a lot of actors where they're just sort of defending themselves a bit. And I totally get that. And I feel that often where it's like you get very intimidated by the intimidating presence of the camera. And she's just so open. Like she's just so shoulders squared and just seems very at ease and fully presenting herself. It's beautiful. I think it's part of the reason why we find her so enigmatic, I've really enjoyed that about her. I was like, great, I'm going to try to tap into that a little more in my own work now.
Can you sense the difference in your camera presence from when you first started with the show to where you're at now?
Oh my God, so much. So much that it's like that weird actor thing where I once heard Busy Phillips say this, and I loved it because I'm one of those actors who's done a lot of pilots.
Mm-hmm.
I've done 7 network pilots. Roswell was my 7th network pilot, and she said that she would really like it if the universe could just erase all those pilots from existence, so that it might not fall in anyone's hands. And I loved that because I realized that where most people get, or not most people, but where some people are lucky enough to have a show early on in their career be their like training grounds, those pilots were my training ground, my like time to get comfortable in front of the camera. And I feel very lucky that then Roswell came at a point where I feel rather comfortable. But even still, from season 1 to season 2, I've seen such a change in my feeling relaxed. And yeah, I feel like I often do my best work in theaters, just when I'm working with my coach or with my friends. And I think it's because I feel at ease there. So it's been fun to see my at ease journey on Roswell.
Did you have a different feeling when you did this pilot compared to the other 6? Or you're just like, I don't know if this is going to get picked up because I kind of know how things go now?
Yeah, my castmates had the same thing. They were like, okay, well, how do you feel about this one? And what I know about like pilot 4, I started playing that game where I'm like, let me see if I can guess if I put money in it. And yeah, it's such a free for all, man. Like you have no idea, But I will say the difference with this one for me was really that it felt like the right pilot for the right network at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like those 3 things lined up. I had often been a part of a pilot on a Fox, show that was really pushing it for Fox, and this show just felt brave in its way, but timely. Mm-hmm. and it felt right with its sci-fi elements, everything. It felt like we could make what we wanted to make work with this show on CW. So that was very comforting off the top, and I felt confident in that. And then this was my first time leading a show, leading a pilot, being number 1. So I just was too busy to even, I just thought I'm going to take in everything I can from this blessing of an experience. And then when it did get picked up, I just was like, what? Now episode 2. Wow, here we are. Like we've arrived. Yeah.
I think finding the right network is really critical because you look at the CW slate and there's all these shows that kind of fit in with this. And I think that's really important. And you also mentioned the fact that you're number one on the call sheet. Like you're jumping into this whole thing. Like, can you think about other people who were number ones on other shows that you think about now and you're like, this person had a great presence or this person worked really well with other people? Like, who did you kind of grab from with your own experience?
Totally. You know, I had just come off of Grey's Anatomy, and I got to do a year on that show and watch, you know, all of the OGs. Ellen, of course. I worked a lot with Justin Chambers, who's been there since the beginning of that show as well. Our characters just worked a lot together. So that felt like the best grad school ever. But the biggest gift on that set for me was actually Krista Vernoff, who's the showrunner on that show. Her and I had done a pilot previously together, but of course didn't go, and stayed friends. And that's how that job came to be. She invited me over to the Grey's Anatomy party. And I knew Krista has worked with so many number ones. So she was one of the first calls I made before I set off to Albuquerque to shoot this pilot. And I asked her, what do I need to do? And she was so helpful. And she really just told me just to do me, which is a huge gift sometimes to hear. And then the other person was my acting coach, Victor Villarhauser, who is incredible and worked with so many amazing actors. And so he also had worked with a lot of actors, walking them through their, you know, number one journey. And I was really concerned about being like a cheerleader for everyone and being like, hey guys, like, I'm here for you. And that seemed like a whole job aside from what I know how to do as an actor. And he was like, no, that is not your job. It is not your job to take care of everyone. He's like, you just go to work and make it your job to do what you do every day, to just set a high bar and trust that everyone's going to come and meet you there. So it felt aligned with what Krista was saying too. And that's really what I've just been like holding on to this whole time, is just doing me and just trying to do the best work I can do and support my actors when we come together in that way, the only way I know how. So
you got to trust that everybody will level up. It's like there's already enough stuff going on with you, and like even with the show, it's like all these really interesting, complicated layers where it's like there are these universal themes going on, but it's all under the shadow of this science fiction world. So what's been like, you know, peeling back that onion and just dealing with some of the more complex stuff here?
So fun. I mean, it's just so much. You're totally right. Like I hadn't really realized that what a challenge working on a sci-fi show on the CW is, because it is so many layers on top of layers on top of layers. So I was talking to my sister about it the other day. I'm like, in an episode, we see 3 characters go on a journey that on an HBO show would take them a whole season. You know? Yep. And so it is a lot of whiplash, you know? So creating, you know, making it feel real honest and grounding it all, it feels like, again, like a great graduate school. I'm so lucky to be going to the graduate school of CW because it's so much material and dense material to try to put on its feet day to day and not make it a soap opera, you know? No offense to soap operas, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. What surprised you the most about the experience, having done 2 seasons so far?
Oh my gosh. Oh man, so much. I think the first things that came to mind, New Mexico, just how amazing it is. I really, a lot of my work I had done in LA, and the crews there are just magnificent. Like they love it, man. They're so excited that we're coming in droves, that the industry is just like, how much, you know, how many more studios can we build in New Mexico? It's just really, it's really fun to work with them. You know, first of all, as like technicians for sure, and artists, then also the landscape there. My God, it's just so fun to be cinematic there. It's beautiful. So that was a big surprise. I just didn't know how that was going to feel on me. I love New Mexico, love it. And then I also just, that I enjoyed being a number one. I knew I could handle it, and I felt like I was prepared, you know, but I didn't know whether I was going to like it, which is fair game. Like, who knows, you know, you could be like, you know what, maybe I should chill at 4 or 5 at the call sheet, you know, and I actually really love it. And it's just made me excited to to continue on this journey. I want this gig to go as long as they'll possibly have us, you know. And then after, I want to lead another show. Like I want to try to, you know, Kobe Smulders this and like just keep rocking it, man. Like I am enjoying being a tone setter and taking care of my people. It's been really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a good one to reflect on because she's done all these different roles and has the ability to stretch and do all these different parts. What do you like the most about what she brings to the table?
Well, so I've actually now at this point, I've met her through a director friend. And so that's the other thing too, is just like knowing her as a human. It makes me respect her and appreciate her more. I don't know her closely at all, but just in the interactions we've had and getting to know some of her circle, I'm really impressed with the kind of boss she is. And it's amazing to me to read interviews of her castmates talking about her. That tells you a lot about, you know, a person. So yeah, I agree. She is someone really to aspire to. And I love the way she just like then seamlessly on hiatus is like, I'll do a studio movie. Fine. You know,
no biggie. Yeah.
I'm like, you go girl, just killing it all around. So really, really impressed by her. Yeah.
You mentioned the direction of the industry, like we're going to shoot in different places, all different types of shows. I think it's a huge deal that you're a Cuban American woman leading a show in 2020. Like there's still not enough of those types of faces. So what does that mean to you overall?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, it's definitely, it's a little shocking because it is that there's not many of us, man. Like it's, you know, Justina Machado on One Day at a Time and the Vida Girls, which sadly that's their last season now. And we have a couple new shows like Beauty and the Baker. And so it's always surprising to me how few there are. I'm grateful to CW because Charmed is one of the other few shows that has Latina leads. And I'm just trying to do, the only thing that I think I can do to help is do the best possible job I can do. And so I'm just trying to focus on that because that feels like manageable. I'm like, me, I can control, you know. But you know, moving forward, I really do want to try to create more space for our stories to be told. So I've been really inspired by my fellow Latinas in the industry. We do these like gatherings together, these Fiercely Latina gatherings, and we all just sort of try to demystify that process. We talk about pod deals, we talk about acquiring property, you know, intellectual property, all this stuff. And in that way, it's been fun to me because at the very least, I know I have a network to make that happen, and I'm more excited about the chicas I want to collaborate with, which is awesome. Yeah.
I think the key is just making this a normal everyday conversation in the industry. It's like there's Vita and there's Hentify and there's all these great shows, and it's like this should just be the norm, right? These are all excellent TV shows with awesome men and women. Like let's just get more of that out there. Like that really is how we continue to change things here.
Absolutely. Oh my God, America Ferrera, God bless that woman. I am loving Hentified. I'm having such a good time watching that show.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there, and your show is certainly up there as well. If people haven't checked it out, what are some big things you want them to be thinking about when they watch?
Oh man. Well, you know, I think there's something for everyone here because ultimately our show is about otherness. You know, it's about feeling like an outsider, and we have aliens, the ultimate outsiders, as the real like hook and sinker of our show because it is a delicious world to speculate about, and it's romantic for sure. It feels like it's got this like unique small town, which I love those shows where you feel like you're going to spend time in a place that's very far from where your couch is situated. And so I think people respond to the small town, big world element of our show. And yeah, it's got a hell of a protagonist.
I'd say so. And it's been really fun hanging out with you. So Jeanine, thanks so much. Be good. And we'll talk to you down the road, all right?